Hey, I'm Chuck Dransfield, and this, of course, is my portrait of Clark Gable and Carole Lombard, one of the greatest, most magical fairy tale like romances in all of Hollywood history. The ultimate power couple. But it was going to say that, did their first movie together, their only movie together. There were no sparks between them at the time. But in 1936, 4 years later, they met again. There was this event called the Mayfair White Ball in Beverly Hills in I think it was like January of 1936. Carole was the honorary hostess for the event. She was there with Cesar Romero as her escort for the night. Very platonic relationship there, I can assure you. But Carole mandated that all of the women should wear white gowns, which everybody complied with, except for actress Norma Shearer, who purposely arrived late so she could make a grand entrance, and she was wearing a scarlet red gown, like out of the movie Jezebel. Well, Carole was furious, and she said, that effing, I'm going to clean up my language here, that effing bitch. And she was seething mad. People had to talk her out from confronting Norma Shearer. Well, anyway, Clark Gable was there that night. He had just recently separated from his wife, Rhea, and he approached Carole with the line, "I go for you, Ma." And where that came from, when they were making the movie together in 1932, their nicknames for each other were Ma and Pa. So that was Gable's opening line. They began chatting. They danced. There was some chemistry. And Gable had just bought a spectacular Duesenberg car. I think it was one of only two in existence in the world. It was custom made for him. I think he and Gary Cooper had the only ones. So he said, "You want to come out and see my car? Go for a little drive around the block." How's that for a line? Carole said, sure. So they were driving around the block and driving around the block again and again. And I think Gable may have put his hand on her knee or something. And Carole took it off and said, this was a big line back in the 1930s that women used to say to a man, "You're being too fresh." She looked him in the eye and said, "Who do you think you are, Clark Gable?" Which was funny. It almost got them off to a bad start. But the next morning, Gable, because he was separated from his wife, he was staying in the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. He woke up to find two lovebirds, flying around in his room. Carole had bribed the bellboy or whoever delivered it to open the cage door and let the birds out in the room. And there was a little note attached to the leg of one of the birds, and it said, "How about it, Carole?" That's where it all started.